Hey, this is my strengths and action presentation. My strengths are belief, individualization, developer, empathy, and input. My first strength is belief, and I would describe it as being firmly rooted in your beliefs or morals and letting those guide your every action. For me personally, that's biblical truth. I believe a leader should be firmly planted in their beliefs, because if a leader is easily swayed, the whole group could suffer, and a leader who is unable to make a sure decision would cause a lot of group panic. I've seen the strength in my own life as I strive to have everything I do glorify God. Personally, I've been working on having my conversations and little daily actions even try to be more intentional about reflecting God, as that can often be a struggle to overlook those small things. My second strength is individualization. I would describe that as being able to see others' unique gifts that may come off as oddities, and instead of seeing them in a negative light, using them to strengthen the group as a whole. I believe a leader should have this strength, as it could allow a group to become more cohesive, and instead of them nitpicking every little thing that's wrong with another person, you can be like, we're using this thing that you might see as a negative, and instead we're going to turn it into a positive and just strengthen the whole group. I've seen that in my life as I've been serving as a CGL, and the girls in my group often have different personalities. One girl is much more logic based, and just this past Wednesday, I posed a question that would cause her to reflect in a logical way rather than in a more emotional way, and it caused my whole group to reflect in a different way and see how some of the stuff that we talk about at campus community can be applied throughout every aspect of their life. My third strength is developer. I believe this goes hand in hand with individualization. Developer often is seeing a small area and allowing and encouraging that to grow into its own strength. I believe this is perfect for a leader, as they can see a small skill in a group member, and instead of just ignoring it, rather they can use it to grow into a strength and ultimately grow that person into a leader themselves. I've seen that in my own life as I've been walking alongside the girls in my group, and I've been encouraging them as they're going through whatever throughout their lives, and whether it just be a text of encouragement or like a small little gift to let them know that I'm thinking about them, I've been just encouraging them that they can make it through this time and that I will be there for them. My fourth strength is empathy. I say this in myself a lot. I would describe empathy as being and understanding someone's emotions as they describe a situation and almost feeling them yourself. I think a leader needs empathy because it allows them to become more approachable, and thus conflicts could be resolved much earlier on compared to allowing it to fester and thus explode later on. I've seen this most recently as I've listened to my global studies professor as she shared her testimony, and my heart was breaking with her as she talked about the brokenness that she's experienced. My final strength is input, and at first I didn't fully understand what input meant, but to me it means finding those intentional and meaningful conversations and relationships. I think a leader needs to find that intentionality and be intentional with others so that the trust is built between the group. I've seen that in this semester, especially as I've began to choose my specific friends who are always pouring into me rather than having a bunch of people know my name. My interview was with my mom, and she saw every strength except for individualization when she was thinking about it. She saw belief as I went through high school, and I was very firmly rooted in my Christianity, and I would share it constantly whenever I had the chance. And I also encourage her to go and strengthen her relationship with God and share herself, which would kind of go under developer. She also remembers me being a developer as I encouraged my best friend, as we would take the same class or whether it was with her lacrosse, and just encouraging her to always do her best. She saw input as a similar way as I had described, as finding the intentional friends who would always be there for me and I could have those deep, meaningful conversations with. She sees empathy a lot in me, and she was thinking about when I was in Alaska on a mission trip and I called her up just broken over all the hurt that I saw in this one teenage girl that I got the chance to speak with. One thing she encouraged me to think about is to not let my empathy overwhelm myself, and to be able to still regulate my own emotions. A next step using these strengths would hopefully to become a counselor in the future, specifically a Christian counselor, having that foundation and my beliefs and being able to encourage teenage girls to see their weaknesses or their small skills and eventually grow those into their own strengths, and finding those intentional relationships that they need to be in while also being intentional myself and listening to what they have to tell me. So yeah, thank you so much.